Hi, I'm on time today. Yay! See, this isn't an afterthought, is it? Haha. This is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to put it down now because it's big. Okay, lipstick, hair, sort of. I had to do a spitball because it looks like little Albert. It's the beauty of curly hair. It does what it wants to, when it wants to. So, hi, I'm Vicki Ross. And if y'all haven't been fortunate enough to catch some of my YouTube videos, I've got a bunch over there. Some of them are very interesting, and some are entertaining, and some are, you'll actually learn something. Mostly mixed media, because those kind of projects can be done quick. And you go longer than 2 hours and your audience is going to fall asleep on you or drift off to something else. So, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been a working artist since 2001, and art was the one thing I picked up to take my mind off losing my daughter in 2001. And I'm here to tell all of y'all that any kind of a big upset in your life can cause you to stand there and go, what am I going to do now? Who do I want to be when I grow up? You better start figuring it out. Art was the one thing that once I learned enough to work from the side of my brain that would just let me automatically paint, not the side that was going, well, so-and-so said this, and so-and-so said that. Which one am I going to do? But when I reached the point where I could just paint, listen to music, or listen to words on tape, I could get a 5 to 10 minute, in the early days, 5 to 10 minute span of nothing, just float and come out of the trance almost. It's almost meditative. And I've done that before when I was working on a portrait, 2 girls, and I came out of the little trance or something happened to distract me. And I looked at the girl that I was working on with the music, and first pass, she looked like herself. It was a real surprise to me. So then I worked on the second girl, and I did not turn the music on. I had to scrape her off 3 or 4 times before I finally got it. So there was something in that clicked with me. And, well, that was long after I started painting, but I want to teach other people how to learn and grow as artists and fill their empty time with peace. So to do that, the vehicle that I'm doing that with is the Ideal Art and Peace System. It's a teachable class, and at this particular point, I'm launching it. I'm controlling when I launch it. So I will send out some emails, and you'll have the opportunity to say you're interested or not interested, and then only the people who are interested will get further emails about it, because I do not want to be a pest. So to that end, you need to get your name on my mailing list, because I'm going to start it probably the day after Christmas. So you'll get the emails if you're on the mailing list, and the mailing list is at www.axully.com. Axully is phonetic for actually, you're actually going to go there. Huh? So I sometimes write phonetically too, which makes it a challenge to see what I'm saying, to understand Vicki. All right. Let me do a little housekeeping here. This is where you are. You're on my Facebook page called Vicki Ross Art. And yes, it's in Facebook. And yes, Facebook is encouraging, their behavior has encouraged a lot of people to drop their accounts. However, at this point, it is what the communication of my school is built around Facebook. So if you can stand it, just to go in there and look and see the things you want to look and see. This is not on a timeline. It is public, but it's not on a timeline. And trolls are quickly thrown out. But this is for the stuff that I would normally paste on my timeline but they get lost with all the changes Facebook makes in the algorithms. And oh, let's not send her those for a while. Let's send her these. So that's that. It's kind of like my private timeline. Then I have a private group, and it's private only that you have to ask to join. Almost everybody gets to get in except somebody who is obviously a troll, somebody that's ugly or mean or hateful. And I mean ugly in the personality sense, not in the look sense. And that one is called Actually Art. And it's going to be a community where you can talk about you, where it's just getting going. So we need some members over there to start conversations and post pictures of their work and ask questions about any kind of art. You'll find somebody in there that knows how to write a stunning lead paragraph, and somebody else may know how to fricassee one of Julia Child's chickens. You know, everybody has creative outlets, and any creative outlet that gives you a little bit of a meditative result is good for you, and it will help your soul regenerate. It will help you find out who you are, because you're not meant to be parents forever. I mean, it's a lot of work those first 17 years. You'll still be a parent, but they don't depend on you if you've done your job. So once you've got an empty nest and you're looking at maybe retiring or changing jobs or whatever, anyway, whatever reason, you end up with a lot of time on your hands. And around age 50 is an ideal time, if you haven't already, to try some things and see what you might want to do. The school teaches you or introduces you to the basics of art. That's half of the school, and the other half of the school is trial sessions on watercolor, oil, soft pastel, and encaustic. So within the art area of being creative, there are many, many, many things you could choose, but this helps you maybe see if you have an affinity for one over the other. And the class includes all the materials, so that's an extra bonus. I mentioned YouTube, and I am Vicki Artist at YouTube, and anybody can go in there and watch. And if you it's best to subscribe and click the bell, and then anytime I go live, you'll get a notification. If you're free, you can pop over there and listen to a little bit. But there's a lot of fun chat goes on. And I did the Facebook page. Is that it? Oh. All of my social media stuff is at VickiRossArt.com, and that has links to the gallery and Pinterest and Instagram and, you know, all that stuff that's important. So, jump back, Jack. What do I mean by that? God, she's gone off her rocker again. We're always told to not live in the past. Okay, that's kind of a psychological thing. Don't live in the past. That's gone. It's never going to be again. You're just avoiding what's here today. Don't live in the future. You can't do anything about it. Today's the only thing you can do anything about. Have you ever heard that? That's not an absolute to me. Yeah, it applies in some places. I could sing a song. But looking backward can be a good thing. Let's just talk about art, since that's what I'm all about. In art, you go through a crawling stage just like an infant does. And everyone has to learn the same things. Everyone has to practice the same things. You have to experiment with the same things. And the more hours you put into it, the better you get. Soon you're walking, and then you're running, you know, just like a kid. So the best thing to do with those early paintings is not sign them and give them away, or for heaven's sake, don't sign them and sell them. Don't frame them. This is like your baby book. And put all of the things that you do in one folder or box or whatever, and slide it under the bed. Forget about it. Open it up to add more. Forget about it. And keep doing your practice. And, you know, try to give it at a minimum several hours a week. If you have the time and really get into it, you'll see that you can't get away from your easel, and you'll be spending 3 or 4 hours a day on it. So let's say that now you're about ready for college. You've studied with some tutors that you like their style, and you've learned a lot. You've read a lot of books. You've watched a lot of videos, and you've practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. And your work is beginning to look a little bit like you. And that happens automatically. You don't pick a style and then have it be your trademark, so to speak. Your style finds you, and it finds you as you're going through all these little steps. And you keep adding to that box under the bed. After about 4 or 5 years, pull that box out and look at where you've been. Look back. So you look back and you will be amazed when you can see the progression to how far you've come just by practicing. And I don't care what kind of creative thing you have to pick up or you want to pick up, you have to go through those same steps. You're not going to get away without it. I was talking to somebody the other day, and she said, well, I'm just, if this is ugly, if this doesn't work out, I'm just going to wipe it off and start all over again. And I was in a chat with her, and I said, patience, Grasshopper, patience. You won't see the results I got for another 30 minutes of layer and layer and layer. And then you're going to see it. You're not going to do just one slap dab attempt to pull it as if we were jelly printing, which is mono printing on a gelatin plate. You're not going to get that result. You have got to put in the time. You have got to enjoy the process, and you'll get several good pulls or prints along the way. She did not have a basic understanding of that. She did not understand that, oh yeah, I may have done mine in 20 minutes, but I have 20 years worth of experience behind me. And so I didn't have to fumble a whole lot. And so I was showing this group on YouTube what I had done. And she was trying it the next day. And then she kept saying, I guess I better go watch the video, huh? And well, yeah, that might help. I mean, I've been there, done that. So anyway, that's a little bit about looking back. Again, if you're sewing, you start with an apron and home ec. If you're playing baseball, you start with a t-ball. So, but artists, for some reason, seem to think they can go in and put some color down, and they expect to do a Da Vinci, and they quit because they don't know why it didn't work. They don't know what to do to make it work. So they have skipped from crawling to virtuoso. And the same with piano. You do not sit down at a piano. Well, Beethoven and Mozart do, but they were savants, I think. But anyway, you start playing chords and scales. You don't start with a Beethoven symphony. So why do you expect that in art? Why do you expect it with anything? You've got to do the time before you can get the benefit. And enjoy yourself as you go. But do not compare yourself to people who've been doing it for 20 years. Because it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for how you feel about yourself. So, another thing that I learned along the way, I kept, I think we went on our first real painting workshop in 2004, I believe, or 5. And it was an international artist workshop. And I saw it in the magazine. I told Randy, I said, boy, that'd be fun to do sometime. He said, well, let's do it. I thought, oh no, how many reasons can I come up with that we don't want to do that? Oh me, I can't leave, oh me. So he said, do it. So I said, well, there's one in England and one in Italy and one in blah, blah, blah. There were about 6, I guess. Italy sounds kind of fun. So close your eyes, point, and pick Italy. The funny thing about it is we didn't know the tutor, nor did we look at any of the tutors because we didn't know who any of them were. Turns out the tutor that we got with the Italy trip is one of the world's premier watercolor painters, Charles Reed. And of course, we're both greener than goose poop. And we struggled to stay up, but there were artists from Hong Kong and England and Canada and, you know, all over the world who had painted all their lives. But we did okay. We kind of kept up, and we came out of that workshop with some things for the box under the bed. A couple of them were okay. You know, they showed promise. You know, I've been told when you start painting, if you get 1 out of 20 in the beginning that you like, you're doing good. And the more you paint or cook or whatever, the 30th souffle that you make is going to be better than the first one. And you're going to make more of them. You're not going to have many failures. And it's the same with art. As long as I've painted, I get pretty much to what I call 90% acceptable to me the first go round. So anyway, I'm walking along and everybody's picked all these cute spots to paint, and the paintings that they come back with look nothing like the spot they were sitting in. How do you pick? How do you see the painting in that group of trees? Where's the painting? I have asked that question of every tutor I've ever had, and I never got an answer. Still don't know what they saw. I just don't know. But I did learn something on that trip to Italy that stuck with me a long time. And that is, turn around and look where you've been every once in a while. It's just like that box under the bed. Look at where you've come from. Look at how far you've progressed. Now get off your own back and quit bitching at yourself. You're normal. This just goes with the territory, okay? So we had painted with the group in the morning and had our beers for lunch, of course. And then we kind of had a break. Everybody kind of wandered off. You know, we were all in the same vicinity, but, you know, wandered off a little bit and found a little cozy spot to set up and paint. And I was, again, not having any luck finding something to paint. I mean, I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. Didn't have the eyes. My eyes weren't trained. So I'm walking along this cobblestone and I'm thinking, I think I'll just find a place to sit down and go back and find Randy in about an hour. And then I turned around to do that. And when I turned around, the scene that I showed you in the beginning was there. I had walked by it and didn't see it. But when I turned around and looked at it from a different angle, there it was. The light was perfect. The colors were perfect. It was a quiet spot where I could fiddle with it and not be interrupted. So that's what I did. And I set my little, we had little tripod stools, you know, that open with their legs like that. And your seat has, you know, it's about 12 inches, maybe about like that to sit on. It's okay for about 3 or 4 minutes, but an hour, and you'll get up and that thing's embedded in your butt. I promise you. But anyway, I set that up. I set my little chair up. I set up my easel and my pochade box, which is the fancy name for a painting outside box. And I was sitting next to somebody's scooter. And so I had my little bitty water container. I set that by the scooter, and I'm thinking any minute somebody's going to come out and say, "What are you doing?" But anyway, I sat there, and this is the painting that I did that afternoon. This was one of my 1 out of 50 or 1 out of 20. The sun was perfectly coming in. The colors, all the colors of the buildings there, because they're old, will have spots of green and red, and maybe the previous owners, I'm getting a reflection, previous owner's color choice. The doors are always different colors, or you get up close to them and you'll see different colors peeling through. They look very organic. And the windows are always different, and you can tell they're not planned by an architect. They're not perfect. In our world today, right now anyway, we expect everything to be perfect in our houses, and it's not. Anyway, I went back. I kind of ran out of time because we all had a time that we were going to be back. And that night in the critique, Charles pulled it up and he said, "Very nice." I said, "Yeah, but I didn't get to finish this square right here. Time was up before I got there." And he said, "I'm glad you left that square open. It will make people wonder what you were looking at and why you didn't paint it." So this is the result of me looking back. And it's a valuable lesson to learn. It's not living in the past, and it's not living in the future. It's just taking a few minutes to look behind you, and you can find the painting in what is behind you sometimes. May not hit you on the head the first time you walk past it. Turn around and look at it from a different angle. And it's the same for everything. If something's bugging you, turn around and look at it from a different angle. Look at it from another person's angle. Sometimes it makes it go away. So, jump back, Jack. And there's Vicky's Talkie for Wednesday. And over and out. And I'm glad you guys tuned in, or you can see it on a replay and over on YouTube.